Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. And quite a few parallels between India and South Africa. We also are experiencing an extension to our lockdown. Your cases, you have more cases than us. But I wonder what the response has been to the extension in your lockdown.
Well, this extension was widely expected after Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, held a video conference meeting with the state chief ministers over the weekend. But the length of the lockdown, that's not exactly what was expected. It was believed that it would be until the end of this month. Now we're hearing from Narendra Modi that, in fact, this will go on until May the 3rd. So that is longer than expected. And so far, the reactions haven't been so positive. What we've seen in Mumbai today is that hundreds of workers gathered at a station and actually ended up staging protests. It's understood that there may have been some rumours that they heard that trains might restart, and they went to the station, and hundreds of them discovered this wasn't the case, and they started protesting, demanding that they wanted to go back to their homes, because this has been the problem with the lockdown so far. The 3-week lockdown that was meant to end today is that a lot of migrant labourers have ended up in the cities stranded without work. Earlier on in the lockdown, there were some migrant labourers who actually ended up walking hundreds of kilometres to return to their home village. But it's really the poorer people that have been harder hit by this. But even businesses here are also questioning what the economic impact is going to be, because the 3-week lockdown is already understood to have had a $100 billion impact on the economy.
There are so many parallels between India's lockdown and South Africa's lockdown. Here in South Africa, we had 2 sites of protest, people expecting food parcels and then being disappointed and then protesting around this. We, like you, have many poor areas. Has there been any sort of concerted humanitarian response, bearing in mind that so many people in your country, as in ours, live below the breadline and live hand to mouth?
Yes, that's right. So the government, once the first phase of the lockdown was announced, did launch a $22 billion relief program, and that includes free food and some cash handouts. So this was largely a relief package that was aimed at the poor. However, in reality, executing and implementing such a program is more difficult, and a lot of people don't necessarily have the right documentation to claim those benefits. So there are a lot of people here on the ground who are saying that they haven't actually got access to those benefits. Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, has also indicated today in his speech that they will take care of the migrant workers, the poor people as well. There are going to be more guidelines that are issued that will take them into account, apparently. We have to wait to hear more information on that. There are also a lot of NGOs and other groups that have been doing a lot of work in cities like Mumbai to hand out food and so on, and to help people who are stranded and in need. But certainly there are a lot of calls by economists and businesses and the poor people as well for more economic stimulus to take place. That they're saying that more needs to be injected into the economy, more needs to be spent to help people, because if you look at how much India has spent so far, it's relatively low in terms of a percentage of its GDP compared to what a lot of other countries are doing. So definitely there seems to be a need for more resources, more money to go into this. But certainly India is obviously very concerned about the rise in the number of cases. It has a population of more than 1.3 billion, and it has a weak public healthcare system, and it really just can't afford for there to be a much further rise in cases, because this would put a massive strain on the country's health infrastructure. And that's what the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, is really worried about. Now he realised, what his speech indicated was that there's going to be an economic cost, but that the lives are more valuable, really, at this point in time.
Definitely, there has to be a humanitarian response as well. Thank you so much. That's our correspondent in Mumbai, India, Rebecca Bundan.